3:27 p.m. Go ahead,
Welcome,
Stadium.
guys, to the live podcast of the grind. Who do we have here?
Hello, you beautiful people. I'm just an Asian guy that they picked off from the side of Chinatown. Here to do translation for my Asian viewers.
Alright, I'm El Israel. I'm here. Let's make it happen. Let's do the do. Let's get it. Lights, camera, action.
My name is Alan. Artist name is Amulet.
Ahmed, also known as AKA.
My name is Hav. Alright,
Yeah, so okay, we just had a very successful production meeting.
Yeah, casting team meeting.
What did you guys think about that?
You know?
Like, who did you guys not like?
I don't know, maybe that.
This guy right here.
That guy
It's
in
not
the
about
jeans.
me, you know, like it's.
He almost
it's
got
getting
into an
together,
actual
you know?
fight.
Yeah.
Damn near a box match.
Who you about to fight?
British, everyone.
Everybody.
All the British were-
I can tell, bro.
everyone side-eyeing. I was like, it's too quiet here. It needs to be. I don't know, sometimes I need to be able to embrace the quietness, but I like that, so I like try to, I need to say something, I
I
need to do
know.
something.
Just break the awkward silence.
It's called being a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like a troll in real life.
exactly, and I live under a bridge like a real troll.
Under a bitch.
Bitch. Bitch. So, but what do you guys think about the awkward silences and whatever? Do you learn to embrace them, or what do we do when those situations occur?
I'm not gonna lie, that boring type that learns to embrace them, but it works for me.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
What goes on in your mind when it's like, okay,
I don't know. I hear myself think. It's like I'm meditating,
what are you thinking of in the moment? Are you thinking of some other thoughts that are happening outside of here, or are you just like in the moment thinking nothing?
Truth be told, I'm thinking about food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. I mean, it's like, yo,
Either
this guy,
food or the other thing.
this guy's not gonna shut the fuck up, man. Damn, I'm hungry.
I could go for a burger right now. I'm tired of smash burgers, but just any burger will do.
Shit. Okay, what's the best burgers? Then?
Man, y'all.
You foodie.
I go with like what is it, like super duper burgers my thing right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That unhealthy shit.
Like,
That greasy.
Which one
shit.
That
is
shit be
healthy?
good though. It be good though.
Yeah.
Burgers
It's smacking.
with the
It's
fry and the
smacking.
milkshake.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about those mega vegan motherfuckers that like?
I mean, I'll eat a Beyond Burger.
Yeah.
Oh,
Impossible Burgers. I had one for 4th of July and it was like, yeah.
Ain't bad, dude.
Oh man, I'm enjoying it. It felt like, all right, doesn't feel as saturated. Feel healthy. I can find these,
yeah. Then your friend comes later and he's like, "Yo, bro, that was me, by the way." You're like, "Oh shit." But yeah, so okay, this is July 4th. You went out barbecuing. It seems like. What did you guys do for July 4th weekend?
So I got my kids.
You got kids?
Yeah, I got two girls.
Oh,
How old are
7 and 6.
they? Damn.
So yeah, it wasn't my first 4th of July with them, but I enjoyed my 4th of July. It was good to see my kids.
Do you usually celebrate with them every year? Or?
Or at least try to.
Yeah. So okay, so I don't know if you know, but Mary was like one of the past. She was pregnant lady, and that's gonna be her first kid. Do you have any advice for her on being a first-time parent?
The best
Like, what are
advice.
some good things and bad things that you see parents do, and maybe you've done in your life that you're like, wow, this really works, and this doesn't.
She might have postpartum
Depression.
Yeah, so that's something I did see, and then
What is that?
so it's like
You just get depression.
yeah, after you have a kid, so it's like kind of like a shock, like I got kids now, things change, women change. So when women have kids, they change.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so that's one thing I can tell her, and another thing
Too
too is like
starts coming out of their titties.
you gotta be careful what you say to kids.
yeah.
You gotta definitely be careful what you say to kids.
Yeah, 'cause they're impressionable.
They'll say everything you say
Mm-hmm.
to somebody else.
Oh, they'll take
Yeah.
they'll take everything literal too. Man. You can't be like sarcastic around kids. I learned that hard too, because I work with kids, so I'm like that, man.
You gotta watch what you say to them too.
Yeah.
Because that can develop their mind a certain way.
Mhm.
And if you say certain things to kids, like it can not allow your kid to be free. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. You can give them lifelong trauma or unburden them by the way you say things.
You can smarten them up, but you just gotta be careful when you're wording. Yeah. And you can't yell at them. Yelling at them just kind of like just messes them
Yeah,
up.
well, that's how they used to do it back in the day. They used to spank you, they used to yell at you, berate you.
Nah, some kids need that though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because-
You need to ask for that every once in a while.
I feel like that was in the olden generation, you know, they were more tough.
Yeah.
In the modern generation, they're a little too maybe
Little bit
loose.
softer, yeah.
And so it's like, obviously you see a lot of kids, like I see so many kids scrolling on their phones nowadays. I'm like, how is the proper parenting being done with that? How should we do that? Do I take their phone in the olden days and just fucking smash it on the ground?
Really, it's just like learning how to, or teaching them how to adapt to society, man. Because you don't want to raise kids that are aloof or don't really know like how to interact with people on a day-to-day basis. You know, then it's like I think it's like parents and if they're like not really telling them or showing how to deal with people because that's like a skill within itself to be able to have like a lot of patience with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone on their phone already.
I'm just gonna make sure that I have sound.
How are we going to be a good example for our kids if they're watching this podcast and seeing us do bad behavior?
Everyone needs to be a funny podcast and we talk some funny shit.
They don't know my life, okay? They don't know my life. I was making sure that the podcast had sound, right?
We don't want to hear your excuses, Jeanette. The viewers are getting bored. They're saying for me to shove this water bottle in my ass to make it more entertaining so we can get more viewers.
And they
I
want
don't want to
that.
have to
And
do
they
it.
want that.
I'll
All
pay
right.
$1 for that.
Yeah.
But
Go on his OnlyFans.
It's also too, right? I'm speaking not as a parent, but as someone who I've been a teacher for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
With 4th and 5th graders. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's 9 or 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
It's also not a responsibility, but you also have a role if you're working in the community to be not necessarily a role model, but display a certain behavior with the youth.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about
Right.
that. We were just talking about that because apparently there were the Haktua girl. Apparently they were rumored that she was a teacher.
Yeah.
And they're like,
no.
some of us in this room think that it's okay, and then some of us don't, like, you know, to have that kind of,
teacher have being hot to
yeah.
Yeah, but that was a spontaneous
Yeah.
act.
And that was
You know,
out of,
that
probably
was-
out of their control, weren't mindful of how it was gonna
Yeah.
surf the web and boom, probably.
Like, let's say, like, for example, you're a teacher, right? But
Yeah.
let's just say in another universe that you had maybe an OnlyFans. Would you be okay with that? Is that okay to have as a teacher?
I think that's probably a matter of moral.
And
And
you
I,
should.
I wouldn't personally do it. Like I personally don't even keep my socials public because I know that my students can follow. It's not that I have anything that would get me in trouble. It's just I want to be mindful of the type of relationship and power dynamic you have with the students, no matter how relatable you are to them. Because and I just go back to the behavior and mannerisms because I had an instance where like one of the students had cussed me out bad in front of the whole class, and I'm just like, oh shoot, I can't clap back. You know what I mean? Just like even
What'd you
discipline.
do? What'd you do?
I didn't say anything actually. I kept it cool. I actually brushed it off. It's cool. I don't know if it just happened naturally, but in that moment, I see that I'm not gonna discipline another person's child in that case like that either. But it was more of following up what happened afterwards and
Right.
apologizing for my role in the.
But you apologized to the kid that cussed
Yeah.
you out?
Yeah, because I had called her by her nickname, which she was okay with. You know, in the game that we were playing, she wanted to be called that, but I guess it triggered something, and so when I followed up with her in the other after school program, apologizing for calling her out of her name, I found out that part of that was because she was being bullied by another student because of that, and I'm just but I think it goes back to what we're talking about. Like I'm not gonna parent someone else's children, but I'm gonna make sure I help raise them in a way at the hour that
Actually,
we're.
that reminds me, I had a boss that instead of like punishing me or writing me up or whatever, he was like, I want to know you. I want to know why you are the way you are. Instead of like judging me or placing, you know,
And you said
hearing
good
what
luck.
other people were saying, he was like, I want to know you.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still remember that, you know.
Yeah.
He
I feel like
actually
that's
wanted
yeah.
to know who I was.
That's cool.
That's good for sure.
Well, if only all bosses were like that, you know,
Right.
rather than just kind of be kind of on their high horse, you know, which is just to some like any kind of like whack behavior that a lot of managerial roles have. They think they can like act that way because they're a higher up, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, getting off on their power.
definitely.
Happens too often and happens every day, but just gotta learn from that and check ourselves and not be like that.
Exactly.
Not just be exactly like them because shit, they abuse me. Now I gotta abuse the next fucking person. Otherwise,
It's
how
a
am I?
cycle, vicious cycle.
If that's how you choose to, or you know, be above that shit.
I ain't above that shit. I'm petty as fuck. You do me wrong once, I'm gonna remember that.
He'll take it to heart.
Yeah.
He'll be heartbroken.
I
Just
think
like that
that's-
with you.
I think that's what kids do too, right? Like, I mean, not kids, but just go back to the example. Like, had I tried to discipline or yell or whatever, like they probably remember it, how I made them feel,
Maybe you,
rather than
they
humanizing.
still remember that you sat down and actually got to know them, like I did in the past with my bosses, you know? It could have gone either way.
It's funny you guys talk about that because as the oldest of my brothers, I have two younger brothers. One is 5 years apart, the other one's 1 year apart. And I've always had friends that are slightly older than me and younger than me because of the dynamics of my brothers too. You know, we all have mixed ages. So like I kind of felt like I had to be the role model of my brothers and friends.
Yeah.
So that played a huge dynamic in my life too. You know,
I
But
see
I
it, I
carried
see it
on.
working with you now.
I carried it. It carried on. You know, like it kind of naturally carries on. It becomes a characteristic.
Part of your personality.
Yeah.
Well, do you ever have that moment where you're like, okay, going back to maybe imaginary scenarios, what if you were the youngest? How that would have developed differently? Would you have been spoiled?
I don't know.
You probably
I
get
don't
away
know
with
about
lots
the
of
dynamics. I don't
Speaking
know
of
the
some of those
dynamics
things.
of being spoiled or having the differences between older and younger because I feel like my parents treated us the same. Maybe I had to learn a little faster than my younger brothers and my friends because, you know, not only the community, but it's like I'm the oldest, you know, I had to learn a little faster.
And it's like you gotta lead by example for the other two.
Yes.
It's a trip because like what I look at like the oldest sibling is like they're like the guinea pig out of the siblings, you know. They're the ones that this is like the first kid out of their parents have to do this parenting, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like as somebody that's not a parent but always like sees like at least older kids at the schools I work at and like how they're like more of like the leader role,
Yeah.
whether like they're assigned it or they like own it. Like that's like the title that they feel they are of. Like I see it in like different like formats and everything.
Yeah.
And then as a younger kid, I'm like, you know, you get away with a lot and we get a lot of attention, or if that's the case, you know. But
I learned from both ends because I'm a middle child. I learned from my oldest and I learned from my youngest.
So that means you were ignored.
Of course,
Shit. That's your deep rooted trauma. See, we're breaking it down.
of course.
How did you feel being the middle child?
I felt like I was under my sister's shadow, but
That really,
later on in life,
she
I
was
grew to be
under
who
your-
I am. No, she's still more successful than I am,
Yeah. So you're still in your
but I'm still different. We're different. You can't compare us.
yeah,
We're just so different.
y'all are in your own lanes pretty much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Until you merge and you put the left signal. And then you're saying an emergency for lane sister. Are
I
you
don't
closer
have
to
the
them?
fondest relationship with my sister right now. My younger brother passed recently. I plead the fifth. It's still hard stuff that I have to deal with. Anyway, Alan, what's something people don't know about you?
Shit, I rap. With Ahmed, it's one of my passions. You know, it's not my grind, but it's something that fulfills me. So I guess I could consider it a grind, you know. But the goal for me isn't to.
So you're good at rhyming.
I'm okay.
Are you a freestyle rapper or?
Freestyle is not my profile, but I mean I do it just to release. I mean I think in the writing process, there's freestyle. I think freestyling is kind of embedded in the writing process. I would say.
Yeah.
You know, when you're listening, if you're listening to the instrumental first or whatever, and you're thinking something in the head, freestyling silently.
You're a rapper too,
Hold on,
right?
can I pause you guys for a second? Can you shift over a little bit?
Yeah.
And your chair to the camera?
Are you a
Can you
rapper?
move in a little bit?
So all three of you guys are rappers.
Can
Wait, anybody else a rapper?
Like,
here?
I'm a rapper.
You're a rapper?
I'm a rapper. He's a rapper too.
You're a rapper?
Ahmed
no,
was
I'm
giving us
not
a ride
a
into the city and
I ain't gonna say I'm a
we
rapper,
started
more of an
freestyling.
artist.
Javier had the funniest freestyle, like
Okay, out of the
fucking
three,
hilarious.
who's the most confident?
I got experience.
The most confident, it felt like he was the most confident, but you have the most experience and confidence.
Wait, who was Javier was the most
Because
confident?
Javier was just
Yeah,
spewing
he
shit.
just
He
did
was
like
just spewing shit.
he was like he didn't want to freestyle in the car at first.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But he came like out of like
I
left
was-
field and was like, okay.
You guys freestyled without me or the camera on?
You know, that means we gotta like just do a freestyle segment over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that'll be.
So
the
you
next
rap?
I don't rap.
He doesn't
I
rap,
just
but
participated in the freestyle.
Ahmed led it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
He
fucking
put a
fire.
great beat. He makes his own music. Ahmed makes his own music, and
Yeah.
I thought it was like,
Dang, I
fuck,
wish
this
this was
music is
documented.
yeah.
I would've loved
No,
to
I
see
don't
that.
wish it was documented. I just want to be like the hot tour girl, you know.
And then you go viral
Shit.
and stuff. It's
Yeah, I'm gonna go viral for saying something like coming into the city, you know, like this fucking city's fugazi and shit. Or,
Yeah.
oh, no, it's a facade.
Yeah.
Yeah, the city's a
It's
facade.
not too vulgar. It's just like he got some poetry behind his like
Yeah.
sayings and stuff. Yeah, as it should
He
be.
is an artist, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
it makes
it's all
sense.
facade.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was pretty cool, man. That was like my first time partaking in that freestyle. I never freestyled before, but I was like, man, I like this beat. You make a lot of turntablism style music. I like
Yeah.
that b-boy style music, and I miss that. You know, like, I
Yeah.
don't really find that anymore.
Oh.
So
You know what's a trip too is I think the beat I was playing was an AI generated beat.
Oh shit.
AI?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Them things don't even sound good. Yeah,
Unless you know what you're
They,
looking for.
yeah, they do and they don't. It's
Yeah.
hard to-
no.
What do we?
I put in like hard boom bap beat and it gave like something that was like, all right. And it just started going in like rapping.
What software do you use?
I mean, I use FL Studio, but I use an MPC. Like,
MPC?
for hardware. Yeah.
Okay.
Like finger drumming, all that stuff. But I go like across different sounds, man, from like trap, boom bap stuff. I'll even do like EDM and like trying to dwell into like jazz kind of stuff too.
Okay.
So I'm like all over the place just because it's like my musical taste is all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do country too.
Thank you.
Why not, man?
I move over. I say.
What about you?
Sorry.
You're rapping stuff.
Alan, right?
Yeah.
Alan.
So I mean, I'm learning. I'm new to the MPC one, but that's what I'm learning on as far as like
What's an NPC?
MPC is a machine drum. It's like 16 pads, right? Like a 4x4, and it can be different sounds from a kick, snare, and then all these different sample chops, bass. It's like usually one like shot or one pieces that like will like make a beat, you know. So it could be like from like just one simple bar to like a full like 4 bar, but like it's like without all the technical stuff, it can make music without having to rely on a computer. And it's the stuff that people like Jay Dilla or DJ Premier use. If like that's like your kind of forte for like producers.
Yes.
I was in the bathroom. What happened? Are we talking about AI still in art?
We're talking about AI taking over.
Okay, that's what I had a question on. What do you guys think about AI in art? Like, for example, right, one of the things, AI music, I started listening to some, and some of them are like fire. Like, for example, there's a Kanye West one where like they literally reproduced his voice and they wrote a fire song. Same with Drake, and then there's one Frank Sinatra. Like you can have Frank Sinatra sing any song, modern song you want. And I was listening to, I added it to my playlist.
Oh.
And I was like, shit, this shit is fire. But then on some hand, I was like, but if I continue to listen to it, I'm supporting AI in art. So what do you guys think about that?
We gotta embrace it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a way to embrace creativity.
Yeah. So
I just feel like people shouldn't like hate on it too much
Yeah.
for like, oh, like you're the goat because you don't use AI. It depends on how you use it. Like
Yeah.
one good beat in recent memory that used AI was that BBL Drizzy beat.
Yeah.
that's
From,
AI?
yeah, like apparently that BBL Drizzy part was just like sample from an AI, like according to my knowledge.
Mm.
Cause I was like, what song is that? That same BBL Drizzy one. He
I'm
said,
glad-
"That's from the AI."
I'm glad you said that because yeah, AI might seem like it's bad, but we have to embrace AI. We
Yeah.
definitely do have to embrace AI, but it just depends on what we do with AI.
Yeah.
And also AI, I wouldn't say it has a mind of its own, but you know, like AI is like, I know you haven't seen Terminator.
Yeah. So after that shit comes out, I was like, wait, can I get a girlfriend using AI? Like, can I get an AI girlfriend? I'm in the latter half of like, yo, I'm willing to wage war against you motherfuckers. I will lead the human resistance. I'm low key against AI.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, because to some degree, it's like imagine you're watching a movie and then it says it's all created by AI. How would that taste
Like
in
written
your
by
mouth?
Chat GPT.
Yeah, it's like these motherfuckers stole my money.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, obviously, yeah, we have to understand the progression of technology and that it's gonna be here to stay no matter what. So
Yeah.
obviously, we need to have some form of symbiosis with it, or
Yeah.
you know. But I feel like nowadays, as humans, we become lazy little fucks
Yeah.
that just over rely on these things. And so my concern is that as humans, like you already see it in school, these kids are fucking using ChatGPT and all these AI tools.
But it depends
Yeah,
how
you-
creative we get with it, because there are useful components to AI as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have
Very.
like AI doctors, AI lawyers.
Yeah.
And
AI girlfriends.
let's be honest, doctors are pretty damn expensive in this day and
Yep.
age.
Yeah.
Lawyers, no different.
But to some degree, don't you feel like we should support the human?
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly. But you know, it has its uses. There's
Yeah.
certain things I'm for and certain things I'm against in regards to AI.
Okay, so AI music in general. Like for example, like let's say.
Why you gotta hit him where it hurts? You know he raps.
Well, I know, so that's why I
Ask
need
him
to
about-
let him know.
I'll do an AI beat and like friggin' rhyme over that.
So
shit.
AIB is okay and you rhyme over. Okay, what if it's like an AI generated everything, AI generated track and
Then
lyrics,
it's not him anymore.
Yeah, but
and it's number one. Let's say it's number one.
it's royalty free though, right? Like it's not like it's owned by anybody and all that.
Well, like let's say it's like for example, like let's say Drake or Kendrick came out with the AI thing and it blew up, and it turns out that their name was attached to it, but they didn't fucking rap, they didn't produce anything, they just like programmed.
The only downside for that is that okay, Drake when he did that AI generated
That minor.
Tupac and Snoop Dogg voices.
Yeah.
That was a cease and desist from Snoop Dogg to be like, you can't be using that shit, and they pulled it off immediately.
Mm.
So that's the downside about AI is that if it's in their likeness,
Yeah.
like even musician wise, it's gonna be a thing where it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like either you take it out or we're coming at you guys.
Well, we still don't know because the rules and
It's
still-
all
it's
about the
still-
likenesses because
yeah.
you even
But
have
it's like what level of likeness, you know? If it sounds similar to him but it's different, still is that?
There's other
likeness
cases.
or-
There's other cases
Yeah,
too. Like,
it's interesting.
I mean, it's all in their likeness. Like, say Lizzo coming out with those lines from Truth Hurts, and this one person claiming because it's a popular song, got all these amount of streams, she's generating in money, and that's the key thing is that they're generating in money.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be like, hey, I should be accredited for that, or I should be collecting royalties from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where it draws the line of where it's copyrighted when there's money involved.
With money involved.
Yeah. But that line still hasn't been drawn, at least for AI.
Yeah.
Because
It hasn't yet because
obviously the policymakers are fucking slow on that shit. They're still using fucking 1990 software,
But-
Word document.
there's also like an introduction of AI being introduced as like you ever heard of this website Who Sampled?
No.
They're the ones that
Who Sampled?
introduce like the different samples and different songs whether it's like even if it's like a reiteration of like lyrics from like whoever's like singing or rapping a bar, they'll have a citation to that bar from where it came from originally, and this is just to give like credit where credit is due. If that doesn't happen and they're making a certain amount of income, that's when they're gonna be like, all right, where's the lawyers at? And that's the thing is like a lot of artists that are like professional are like lawyering up that way they can like collect like anything that's like their intellectual property pretty much. So
Okay, but like, okay, as an artist, let's say, right? The whole music industry is now dominated by AI artists with AI sound. How would you feel about that? Like everybody, you know, back in the day, you're listening to probably what Frank Sinatra and shit like that. The modern generation is now listening to all AI artists. How would you feel about that? Like genuinely.
I would say it wouldn't be as bad as. And here's the thing where like you have all these different websites like Suno already facing lawsuits from what I hear about people copying and pasting lyrics and putting into like you know AI generated songs where you put the lyrics in and they'll like sing it like I don't know if it's either automated voices but it sounds like spot on. And like the thing is they'll put say they put Frank Sinatra singing a bossa nova or Frank Sinatra singing a deep house. They'll generate that stuff within minutes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so, because if they go along those lines, especially using lyrics, that's also like a violation of like intellectual properties from like not the artists themselves, but even the record labels. And those are the ones that kind of, you know, we're talking like those certain companies that'll be like, all right, we want a cut, or we're gonna have to silence your, you know, we're gonna have.
Well, at that level, the line starts to get blurry because it's like, okay, you sound like the person.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're talking about? Like you sound like the person.
Not even like the person, but if you're like copying lyrics.
But what if you reword the lyrics? Like it's similar, but it's.
It could, but I don't know. I think they might even be cracking down on that. It's
You know, Kendrick Lamar when we hear Kendrick Lamar. We know
He could be AI generated. We don't know anymore. I have not seen that man in the flesh.
But I'm saying like far as like sound, intellectual property, you know you hear Drake when you hear Drake. You know you
Not
hear
with
Kendrick
AI
Lamar.
anymore because they can literally replicate that voice. So how would you know if
So
you're
it's a
listening to
matter of like,
I'm
yeah,
saying like far as like
as far as content and
Content.
substance, and if you're an artist, you know what a metaphor, you know, now we're talking about rhetoric, right? Rhetoric tools, metaphors, similes, cultural references, and I don't think AI could mimic that part of the human.
they can't capture that essence.
They can't capture that.
No.
Because I tried to use AI before to try to generate some lyrics just to see what it would do, and it looked like it took it from a history textbook, and then
Well, not yet, but I think like slowly as the iterations go, because they're like releasing GPT-5 or whatever with OpenAI.
They can do that.
Getting better in a couple of years, like.
so I think that's also on the big end, right? When you talk about AI, is like, okay, it's who does it benefit? We know, I feel like, in my opinion, it ultimately benefits tech first with collecting big data, and we know what happens when that is in play. Is you're selling the information to whoever, right? But for
I
artists,
feel like nobody really cares about that anymore, though, when your information is being sold. Because no matter what,
Because
it's
you
already
can't
being.
stop it.
Yeah, it's already being collected. It's like.
All it is this them trying to sell you something that you might potentially be interested in. You know, it does seem very intrusive. You know,
Yeah. But
but
Well,
sometimes it's like, hey, I might want it.
well, it's okay. Let's see. Let's say when Costco first opened, right? For example, don't quote me.
Yeah.
Let's say when Costco first opened, they were door to door, right? They were doing coupons door to door. Now it's like many years later, it's like you're actually signing up for the Costco membership online and you're selecting what you're interested in. So that's generating a content where they may send you information like you're interested in this, just like Costco or Safeway, you know, like you buy milk, they're gonna send you more milk coupons.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's different. If you look at the coupons back in the days, they would send you specific shit that you could buy.
Yeah.
Like now, like, cause I would look at my mom's coupons and I would look at my coupons and be like, why is this shit so different? You know, like I would buy cereal, she'd buy juice. Right? And they're sending more juice and cleaning products and they market it for that person, right? That's why we have our little memberships.
Yeah.
You know, So it doesn't really make a difference. It's just a different take on it.
And I think it's like helpful in the long run because who wants to go door to door at this point and like be like, hey, and then you get the door shut on your face, you know?
Right.
I guess like this is just a bit, I feel like it's like at least something that could be helpful to like businesses.
Yeah, manual labor, where it's like the hard, redundant stuff that you don't need to do anymore that robots and AI could replace. But the problem where it starts becoming difficult is like it's got human control, where it's human control. Like, how are we gonna make? Because like if you see nowadays, like a lot of humans, we have. I say this as if I'm fucking alien or whatever. The humans, as you can see, do not know how to control their phone and internet addiction. So in the same sense, how are we gonna
monitor it?
Well, I mean, on an individual level, it's like, okay, let's say AI is already infiltrating the creative arts, right? And I see so many other people use AI in their businesses, but it's like, okay, at what point does it like fully, you're relying on AI too much. Like, for example, the young kids, right? They have an assignment, an essay due. Back in the day, you would have to use your own brain power
It's
and
not
stuff.
true because there's software that the schools use to track plagiarism.
If you see the softwares don't work that well. The softwares don't work.
Bro, I got caught up with like fucking doing something.
I'm pretty sure you can get around that.
Yeah.
Like get
Test it,
around,
you know?
Like Spark Notes.
you can get
or
around
whatever.
that. That software.
You
is
can
cool.
get around the AI
Get around
detection.
that.
The AI detection is imperfect.
That's if it's the encoding. So if the person would be taking text from a book or some type of source, and copy and paste that on a
Without
document,
citing it,
it's gonna have that encoding,
Mhm.
that data behind it. But then if you're just like, looking at it, typing it in your own words, all right, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
I'm switching
I'm
up.
talking about AI writing it completely for you.
Oh, for you.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The AI
encoding,
detection.
encoding, like
There's
Say,
no code. What do you
this
mean?
is
There's
AI.
no-
This is AI. It's writing it, right? And then this is you. You're fucking pouring your water on it, but then it still has that code.
What code?
Right,
That,
like, the
but
ink
I feel
is
like
still
no one
there.
understand how AI works.
So basically,
how
what
the
he,
AI software
what
works.
I'm
I
gonna
know
tell
what
you
he's saying. I know what he's saying. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, but no.
I think there's many ways to go about it, is what he's saying.
It's like a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you can also take
I would
part of
take
it.
it. I would
Yeah.
take basically what I got from that AI and then put it into another AI and switch it up. That's how I get around that and see if it works.
Mhm.
That's how I would get around
Yeah.
it.
Well, I'm saying right now, like obviously,
Software or something.
the AI software that everyone is using, it's not fully developed yet.
Yeah.
But to the level it is right now, it's pretty scary where the trajectory is
It
headed.
depends on the companies. too.
And most AI, it's like if you have a document, right? Write me an essay about the Civil War.
Yeah.
How is AI going to detect that an AI wrote it? It's all words. It's human words. You're not going to be able to detect it to some degree.
It's gonna
That's
detect
why
the
the-
accuracy.
What accuracy of what?
The accuracy of the information that happened in the Civil War. Like
The information
AI
should
can
be
make
accurate.
up shit from the Civil War. It'd
How
be
can
like
it make
fucking-
up shit? Because you're
It could be
kidding.
a capture the
It
flag
generates
thing,
it.
you know?
No,
Like,
basically what AI does is it
Takes
scrapes
the information
it
that's
scrapes
already out
data. It scrapes data from I'm guessing the internet,
yeah.
and then I'm pretty sure it'll compare
It'll
whatever.
make its own document.
Yeah, it'll make its own document based on what it scraped from the internet, and then it can see if you're plagiarizing based on whatever book or whatever text you got
Yeah.
from.
Like if you copy and
If you
pasted
copy
it, it can detect that.
It can
right
detect
away,
that
yeah.
based on the data it had scrapped from the internet. You know what I'm saying?
So they say, yeah. I mean, it's checking if you're getting it from like, even if it's a reliable or unreliable source. If you take it word by word, put it into your work, they're able to like, like call you out on it by detecting it through their data. So,
But what's the difference between the music side and the creative art side, like the visual side?
the thing
AI
is,
isn't as
yeah.
different. It's like it's almost the same.
I don't scold it or anything in any way because sampling,
Yeah. pretty much
people like kind of like treat it as if it's a lowbrow form of making music, but I always tell them there's an art behind it. Like we take certain songs, we chop them, we loop them, we do whatever. We even do what I learned was interpolating, which is like replaying the song, and we could do be off key or however that may be. But that's also another form of sampling. And it's still creativity at the end of the day. You're still creating it into your own image, I mean, of course, there's like gonna have to be some sort of still like sample payments involved. That way, gives credit when credit is due. So there's those components when it comes to like that part of music making, especially in hip hop, or if there's even other genres that use samples. It's no different from like AI for me, because AI will be another form of creativity. It depends on how we go about it.
But you don't feel like over relying on AI will hurt your own creativity? Because I feel like creativity in itself is like a muscle. You need to exercise that muscle in order for it to develop and to create better shit in the future and more new shit. When you over rely on
And
AI,
also be able to
Yeah.
share.
That's
because-
creative.
But in regards to muscle,
Yeah.
my biggest concern is if it will be a steroid to creativity. That's
Steroid.
another food for thought.
yeah, just like, yeah, okay, that's interesting.
I feel like you should use AI for certain things.
Yeah.
I don't think you should use AI to write lyrics. As far as mixing and mastering, I think you should use it for that. Because
And if there's people that use ghostwriters and they're using AI as a ghostwriter, okay, that's cool. But we'll still look at you at the end of the day, as like, oh, they're not a part of the culture, or they're not authentic. You know what I mean?
But how would you know if they never
Tell
reveal?
you, yeah, ghostwriters are not supposed to save you.
I think
Yeah, there's a reason why they call it ghostwriters. You know what I
And it
mean?
boils down to, what it really boils down to at the end is just the person, the individual artist. Like, I think I like so much about rapping or making music. It's liberating. It helps me develop. Like, it helps me know who I am. And for me to use lyrics or a software to and then use and put that out as mine, it now I'm like I'm faced to look at myself like.
Dang,
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you write your own
Yeah,
lyrics.
dignity.
That's how
You
I
still
remember
have
my
dignity.
lyrics, because I write my own lyrics.
Yeah.
For me to pull someone else's lyric and to try to remember that, it's like telling yourself a lie.
Yeah,
So you believe
Or
it?
you're not speaking
It's
in
not
your own
authentic.
voice, so it doesn't just feel as authentic,
it's not.
Well, most people, they lost dignity a long time ago, so they're comfortable doing it.
And let's be real.
That's them.
AI lyrics are not going to generate the way I speak.
Mhm.
It's not going to hit the same grammar. It's not going to talk slang. It doesn't know words that I redefine meanings. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Unless it's a part of their update and they pick
I
up.
think,
like,
yeah, not right
maybe.
now. I feel like you're underestimating, like, give it
Yeah.
a couple months or a year.
I don't
It's like,
think-
I still don't think so.
I don't think
It's
so.
not going to mimic the way it's not going to
I
mimic.
think it already actually is kind of working. The reason why is because if you look out there, a lot of the content is already AI generated. A lot of the comments already AI generated. A lot of the content we see on Instagram is already AI generated, and you wouldn't
Are
even
we
know.
AI?
Exactly. The viewers don't know that this is actually fucking AI, and me berating you and your mother and saying I'm gonna come and I want to go talk to her and take her out on a date is AI generated.
But AI could also be like a parrot. It collects all this information and reiterates it in its
That's
own
what it is.
interpretation.
That's what it is.
One key thing that
To some degree,
somebody
that's
that
what humans do.
Yeah.
You know.
the key thing is that somebody that's worked in that field has told me that AI, don't forget, it's man-made.
It's man-made. That's what I'm
I
saying.
feel like the hope for AI is that it becomes
Like its own sentient being.
yeah.
Can be, but the thing is, at the end of the day, where is it gonna collect and extract information?
But what does
from
that?
us?
It already had it. It already has it developed.
What
and
is
so
that
that's
concept? What is that? What constitutes that though?
what constitutes as in
AI being its own. We said sentient being. Like,
Sentient
where it
being-
doesn't. It no longer needs to extract data from humans, or it can create on its own, like how we're able to create thoughts from our own
like
observations.
what does it really create though?
So it can perform.
I mean,
So what are you creating? Like you're creating lyrics and all this stuff from your own thing? The
It's-
AI
it's
can
a-
just do that.
It's
for-
a lived experience.
yeah.
the AI
A
can do
lived
that. basically.
experience that entails emotion, spirituality.
But that's all in the brain and
No, but that's also my exterior environment, right? It's the whole human experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't gonna.
Unless we
I
create,
don't think AI do it.
yeah.
it can basically summarize that. In,
I hope not.
There's
It's not
also
a- I
like
feel like-
robots that
I hope it
have
doesn't
like kind of
do
like
that.
a little bit of like those sentient kind of like feelings like as a human would. Like they have like emotions and all that. And I've seen them through like companies that have been developing robots for years. Like we're talking like 2000s, maybe in the 90s, but
Yeah.
it's like that could also be our future at some point.
It's
This is
scary,
the
but
development.
yeah, it's, I
It
think
can
that's
be
what it's
scary,
coming.
but there's also like these could be like things that we use for like, I mean, the biggest scare is if they take our jobs completely. And
Right.
we're talking manual labor,
Right.
jobs that people don't want to take.
Film
Which
industry.
I mean, it's already happened.
That's gonna happen.
But
Like,
that's the thing is, I don't know if
That's
people
what
are real. If you look at the, it's already happening. Like a lot of jobs are already getting cut because of that.
Oh yeah,
Especially
a lot of
creative.
businesses are going out of place too.
I know so many people that own like film business or whatever that they're cutting editors, they're cutting graphic designers. You can just you no longer need to hire someone to create a poster for you. You can just pay a subscription fee for this one software, and it can generate you an unlimited amount of images.
yeah.
But that's
It's
totally
already
up to
being
you
used,
if
it's
you
already
want
in
to.
there.
It's totally up to you if you want to like generate it yourself, or if you have somebody that can generate it for you, whether it be machine or person.
But the problem is the person labor is much more expensive compared to.
It is, yeah.
So that's why most people are gonna go towards AI. Like for example, Jeanette, let's say for this film, you could shoot this film for 90% less money and 90% less headache if you just use AI and just fuck
I'll
everyone.
use AI.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm fucking at home, sat on my chair in my underwear, telling my mom that she needs to cook for me because I don't have any more money.
I mean, shoot.
I think
That
people
means you
underestimate
gotta,
AI. I think
yeah.
people underestimate the power of AI and how much it's actually already overtaken our lives.
Yeah, that's facts. People are underestimating AI, but I don't think AI would still be like just move how we move and think how we think. Like we're just too different. We come from God. They come from us. So there's something we have in us that AI just doesn't have and will never
So
have.
they're able to recreate that
Soul. It's called
They
the soul.
can't. It can mimic it, but like
because it can
that
mimic it
feeling-
and you'll never know.
Yeah, it can mimic, but there's a certain way that we do things. AI ain't.
Like AI is
I
not
know what you're
gonna
trying to get at, but
It ain't
Like- for AI to work around you. You're gonna need a power source technology.
what do you mean? Like,
An external.
yeah,
source.
so if I go to the cavemen's and start
Like, if
looking
you
at
wanna make
stones and rocks,
The difference is from AI art and human art is this art is can be done in the forest,
they can do it too. They can send a robot in the forest and tell it to draw and paint.
but the robot's not gonna get there until it has a transistor, battery, everything else that it takes to make.
Well, humans are exactly like that in the same sense. You need food. They need a battery. Our energy is food.
I know.
So it's basically the same thing, but it's just shifted in a certain sense. They need electricity. They can use the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much more efficient than humans, basically.
So
They need less resources to keep alive.
So basically, what you're saying is right. You seen Star Wars?
I'm trying to point out consciousnness.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
you're trying
what
to
I'm
point out
getting at. That's what I'm getting
What
at.
I'm
So-
saying is, what is consciousness on a
Yeah.
level? It's like basically that can be replicated. For example, if someone were to call the cops and say, "Help! I need help!" Right?
Mhm.
Obviously, there's panic, and that is part of the consciousness because from the human experience, you know what fear is, all these things. The AI can replicate that and identify that as beats, and then be like, okay, they have panic breath, they have shallowness of breath, and they're able to replicate that 100%, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference if you were on the other line.
I mean, I look at it like this: if there's some point
I'm
we
a
have like
doomsayer.
I mean,
You're what?
I'm a doomsayer, by the way.
Doomsayer.
Doom. Oh, Doom.
I
We're
mean-
fucked. We need to.
I'm thinking about like
Yeah.
what, like along the lines. Say we reach the year 3000, and it's no different from like how Futurama portrays it, where we live amongst robots. You know,
You're ready for that?
I think I've been ready for that. I'm like, cool. It'd be cool to have
Ahmed's living in
robots
the future. He's like,
as
fuck
like
it, bring it.
citizens and stuff. You know,
He
like
just wants
that'd
a
be cool.
bender on his side.
Yeah, I'll be like frozen like 1,000 years later. Hey, what's up, Bender? You know, like that kind of stuff. You know.
I won't be alive, so.
Yeah, I understand the part of the consciousness that you guys are trying to get at, but it's a difficult concept because from what I've seen, it looks like it's pretty. Like even if you look at the human experience, fuck the AI in general, right? Just with technology, it's like where the fuck did human consciousness go? Like shit, we barely have a consciousness at this point. Everyone is fucking doom scrolling on their phone.
Well, we're taught to consume.
Yeah, so we're becoming more robots than fucking robots themselves.
Well,
The
we're
human
becoming-
consciousness
yeah,
is
we're
disappearing.
becoming the consumer.
There are people trying to make an effort, man. Like, I see like
I ain't seen.
Huh?
I ain't seen. Y'all need to do a better job making the effort because Lord knows I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Someone out there, you gotta be the fucking Messiah.
Nah, but AI is supposed to be here to bring about a change. I feel like we're not supposed to be working really, because think about it, we work all the time and work just destroys us.
Yeah.
Stress, all type of
Well, it
stuff.
depends. It gives us purpose though also.
It depends on the work. I ain't talking about a 9 to 5. I'm talking about something like
Well, 9 to 5 also gives you purpose because at the end of the day, it's like,
it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying work in general, like far as just look at it this way. Why is AI taking this physical world. Because we're not supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be developing ourselves. Spiritually, consciously.
Okay, but most people, even though they have that free time, don't do it.
I think you
Yeah,
gotta
but
just-
I'm just saying on a universal
On a universal scale, that's what they
on a
should be
universal
doing.
scale, that's what they like. They're
Yeah,
supposed to
I
be-
understand.
That's what they.
But I'm saying that even with or without AI, it's not even happening anyway. So it's like,
that doesn't matter. You gotta understand my point. My point is AI is here to bring about a change. You can see a change taking place. I think the change is because us as humans, we're supposed to be developing ourselves.
I know, but my point is that even with or without AI bringing that change, it didn't happen anyways.
What you mean, like developing ourselves?
Yeah, okay, so before AI, were people developing themselves more or less?
There's been
I ain't worried about that. What I'm saying, you ain't listening to what I'm saying.
I am listening.
I'm saying, you saying, you confuse me because basically what you're saying is like, basically people have a choice.
Yes.
That's on a smaller scale, but I'm saying
Yeah.
as far as on the universal,
Yeah.
that's what the energy is here.
Yeah, but
So
I'm
it's
saying
on
is
a
that
larger
at the end
It's on a larger scale. You may not develop yourself,
Yeah,
but we going towards that.
and it's about like really gathering that information at our own pace. you know?
Yeah.
We may be like thinking either one step ahead, some of us are thinking 10 steps ahead, if that makes sense.
Some of us might be lagging,
Yeah,
but eventually just that's just what it is.
yeah.
But doesn't the result matter?
Of course, the result is on
So if God
But
has
the
no
result would
believers,
be-
then, you know.
But the result may not work
Yeah,
in the pace that we want it to. Sometimes
What if it doesn't work, period? Then?
that's just what it is.
that's the whole patient process. It's like
But
this.
then you get into prophecy and too. I mean,
Yeah.
certain things is just supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Out of our control.
Out of our control. Certain things are out of control.
I think that's my problem. I identify as like, fuck. I have such a hard time grasping that concept where it's like, fuck, I need to have control. I need it.
No, I hear that. Yeah.
focus on the
It's
process.
Very humanistic of
Yeah.
you.
I can't
Focus
let
on
go
the
of
process.
fucking just, you know, some things are out of control. It's like,
I think you
I
actually
can't
touched
let
on
that
that 9 to 5 thing.
Yeah.
You said 9 to 5 is purpose.
yeah.
I think I was kind of agree with that, but I also thought about it. I was like, man, I think there's duality to that. It's like when you go to 9 to 5, and you feel like there's a sense of purpose. Is that your purpose,
Yeah.
or is that the purpose that manifests because of
Someone else.
someone else's
Yeah.
purpose for you?
Because people need those people that could fulfill those roles they need. So that makes sense. That's
And
why
there's a lot of people
A lot.
that are trapped
Mhm.
in that 9 to 5 scale. I feel like we're born into having to be trapped already.
Mhm.
Well, I come from a negative perspective on humans in general. So like I'm kind of like what they call people like to say that I'm negative, but really I like to think that I'm a realist. That's what I say. The thing about the 9 to 5 giving people purpose is okay, imagine you no longer have a 9 to 5 and you're able to sustain yourself without that. Then all of a sudden it's like it becomes a area of now you need to find your own purpose. You need to create your own purpose. I think a lot of times in general humans have a difficult time doing that.
I think it's a societal problem.
Yeah,
Societal
that's a
problem.
system problem because of the way the system is.
Well, that's the thing that I think a lot of people actually also they use that as a scapegoat, as in a sense, where it's like, oh, it's a society that did this for me. It's like at the end of the day, the society didn't force you to do anything, you know. At the end of the day, it
And
was
at
your
the end
own
of the day, too, some
society.
people are meant to just survive.
Yeah,
and that's
and
okay.
that's what I'm saying. Is like
That's
that
okay.
is kind of the sense
It's
of the
just-
purpose that whether you hate it or not, you don't like your jobs or not, it is a sense of purpose in your life that it's a task you have to do that you gave yourself ultimately. Nobody's forcing you to be there, right?
Yeah,
well-
Obviously you need to
Needs.
yeah, you have needs and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's, you know.
Oh, and I think purpose is also ever evolving too. Like
Yeah.
your purpose, like if you think your purpose is now, there's add-ons, it can change and shift. You can
I
change,
agree.
it can change even if you're doing the same thing.
But I think that's such a positive mindset, but I think in most people don't change.
Mm-hmm.
So that purpose, it could change a little bit, but for the most part, unless something significant happens in your life,
Yeah.
like near-death experience or something,
Mhm.
most people don't change. So that purpose, sense of purpose, it ever evolving is, yes, there is that prospect of it evolving, but I think most people, it doesn't have that really.
Right. And that
But it
show
really
up-
depends on their mindset as
Yeah,
well, you know.
and I think most people, if you're to see, don't really change. And
I mean, they just have a fixed mindset if that's the case. They're fixated on the thought that because they're following this format, they think they'll get that kind of result. But
Yeah.
they also
Like-
have to be realistic as well. That's the downside to having that kind of mindset as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the wrong way of going about it, but that's what could go wrong in regards to like if somebody has that kind of expectation. You know, you're really like the way I look at it is, you know, how do I do better? What can I do to at least like have it benefit me? You know, just have those kind of goals in mind.
Now,
Got deep.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is it still deep?
It's always deep.
Oh,
Okay.
We're just digging deeper.
Yeah.
do you believe in the afterlife?
It depends on, I believe that energy transfers. I mean, you gotta define what afterlife means, like
Okay,
Like,
supernatural.
you have a second life.
Supernatural.
supernatural, to me like supernatural. Like, again, the definition of like supernatural. So
Out of
Well,
this
actually, I have a
world.
question.
so I can go into a topic.
Second life. Do you believe that after you die, you're gonna have a second life?
It's just,
Second life as a human.
I'm gonna just say this. We're all like energy.
Mhm.
Energy transfers.
I like that.
Mhm.
What my energy gonna transfer to? I
From
don't know.
flower to a flower.
It can go anywhere. So technically speaking, there is a second life. It just depends on where your energy goes.
Okay, but
Who's
imagine
in
your
control of that? I
consciousness
don't know.
disappears.
What
Your
you mean by
consciousness
awareness?
disappears. Yeah.
What you mean by my consciousness?
Like you right now, as your soul is experiencing things. Imagine that's not there anymore.
That I don't think that ever leaves. I just think that when your energy transfers, you just have a different consciousness, like something that you're aware of.
Okay, so this is what I think I brought it up on the podcast last time, but someone explained this death to me in this way, and it was like, oh, holy shit, it clicked in my brain. Where it's like, I don't believe in the afterlife. What happened to you? Do you remember what happened before you were born?
You don't know. You don't believe. I mean, you don't remember.
So what happened before you were born?
I don't know.
You weren't there. You weren't alive. You weren't. So someone told me that's exactly what happens after you die. So this life is all you ever get.
That's not facts. I mean, you can look at it. I understand what you're saying because right now in here in the moment we're remembering, but sometimes too you can remember certain things from past lives.
Yeah.
That's where you get into Akashic records and your records and your memory coming back. And then for me, like when I look at myself and I look at ancient like certain ancient cultures, I see a lot of resemblance.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, your DNA is passed from generation to generation. So while your DNA is being passed from generation to generation, that memory is being recorded in memories, and what you're doing and what your family is doing is being recorded in your DNA. You know what I'm saying? So to some extent, so when you do come back, you don't. I feel like certain thoughts will come back of your past lives, but I understand what you're saying. Like while you're in this life, you only have this life. You got to live it on with the fullest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can always look at it. I look at it from two different perspectives. Like I understand your perspective. Like,
Okay,
I'm
so
looking
what
at it
exactly? So
I'm
what?
looking at it right now,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I understand that, like, I ain't gonna say what you do does matter, but, as far as having a second life, I do believe in,
I got an entry point for you, to maybe think about whether there's an afterlife or a life before this one that you're living. Is maybe you can try to think about what your dreams mean to you.
Shit, I got some weird ass motherfucker.
But are those experiences that you've had, that you remember that you had?
Fuck no.
okay.
Well, where would those thoughts and memories, interpretations come from? I'm saying it could be possibly from whatever you interpret before and after life to be, because.
Are you talking dreams of like what you want to be in life, or dreams?
Oh, I
of,
mean,
like,
like the after, like when you go to
When you
sleep,
go to sleep,
and then you wake up, like there's
I
times.
hardly ever. remember
There's
that.
times where I wake up like, damn, I don't remember it, but there's times where I remember it. Like I could vividly remember when I was young, per se, having dreams where I would jump out a window and fly, like Peter Pan.
Yeah.
I remember having those dreams, so I remember the ones being paralyzed. What is it? The ones
sleep
that,
paralysis.
yeah, sleep paralysis.
That's
Like
real.
where do those, I've never had those memories as I'm alive, conscious.
Those are haunting memories.
Right, but where did that come
It
from?
comes from all the external, like if we're robots in a sense, we take all the data from the outside world. It's from a movie you saw, from a childhood story that your mother saw, from a glimpse of an image that you saw. It just comes from that. It didn't come from anything beyond that moment.
Nah,
Think so?
I beg to differ. You can look at that two ways. the environment can impact your dreams, and also too, I feel like there is different realities, different dimensions. Like when you go to sleep, I don't know if y'all heard of astral projection.
Yeah.
I don't know. You heard
I'm
of astral
familiar
projection?
with it, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what she was getting at. So I don't know if that's true. I don't think it's true. I've never done it. So
Like having like an out of body experience and all that, yeah.
I've heard about it, but
Okay, so what do you guys think then happens after we die?
I don't know.
There's no definite answer though.
What
There's
if
no
you were
definite
able to like
Well, you gotta
Say
break
what
it
you
down. That's
believe.
a loaded
what
question.
you believe?
Yeah. I mean,
Nobody really-
I don't want it to be once it goes pitch black, it's over. You know, I don't want to think about it like that.
What if it was that case though? Let's just say theoretically, what if that was the case?
What if
would
it's just
suck.
whatever? Yeah.
Would that
That
shift
would
the
just suck.
perspective?
But
Would that
here's the
shift the
thing.
perspective?
That can't-
What if it's you're in a dream state
But what if it
forever?
was?
Yeah. What if you're in a dream state forever when you go pitch black?
Dream state forever.
How will
just
we ever
like-
know though? It's not like people die and then come back to Earth
That's
alive.
it. I mean, we could be transferring energies. I also believe there is reincarnation, but I don't know. There's also
But I think from a realist perspective, at least from my perspective, you're trying to be real as possible. Is like I think oftentimes that like transferring energies, it's a hope that we have as humans.
that too, but there's
That's
also
not-
Because
recollection. There's also
it
recollections
stems from
of people that had
stemming from like a
yeah.
part of like
Ain't somebody can
being
steal
afraid to
your
let go.
Ain't somebody can steal your energy?
What do you mean?
Like steal your energy.
Yeah.
Like energy vampire.
Not really.
Yeah, when I'm around
I mean, that's called being
somebody.
around toxic
I know you
people.
heard it.
Yeah.
Steal your energy.
Yeah.
That's energy transfer.
I understand.
That's energy transfer.
I understand because ultimately that is one of the fundamental laws of the universe is that energy is not created or destroyed. It's-
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
But from that logic, that's talking about reactions. We're talking about personally is the human experience and the consciousness.
Yeah, it could be
Like,
also
you
a part of the
gotta measure,
biosphere.
like, when you, I think you gotta really, to get to the answer you want, I think you gotta talk about it in context of like scientific.
Yeah, using
You want to have, like,
science.
how are you gonna measure consciousness on what metrics? Are you gonna do it on metric system or
Science.
just
Using science, real science.
ideology?
Because where does the consciousness stem from? It stems from basically your brain cells.
Like a neuron, the neural pathway? Is that,
Yeah.
is that what you're talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so if we're talking about ideology, thoughts, it seems like just like this is, it's gonna be.
Yeah, you want to get real, you trying to get real technical, huh?
Real technical, but like genuinely what actually happens. And I feel like a lot of human hopes comes from that you hope to have a second life or you hope that something happens after death rather than nothing. Because part of that stems from the inability to let go or maybe a regret that you wish or
It goes
something.
back to control.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to control.
Okay.
But if in reality, like nothing happens, like it's just one and done.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
How about-
I see it from two perspectives. Like
Because people, you know, then all of a sudden
You
it's
have
like,
to be okay with it. That's all you can do. Just
that's scary.
it is.
And it's-
It
that
is.
just is what it is.
But I think genuinely, if I were to actually think about it when I heard that story, it's like, I think that's what happens and it's like, fuck, I need to shift my perspective in life where it's like,
Yeah.
But it's also learning how to make your peace with certain things, you know, because not everything is in your control.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta work with that energy, even if it's overwhelming, and that's okay. It's alright. That was kind of like thoughts where it's like, damn, I either feel a need of inadequacy or it's tapping into my insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
That shit happens. That's what also makes us human. You know?
Mhm.
So,
What do you guys think about horde mentalities?
Or
Like,
well, wait, before
mentality.
we go, can I,
Yeah,
Touch on
go,
that,
go, go.
because that should, like, we have to make peace with ourselves and what we have, but it's like, how can, I feel like that's tough, or at least for me right now, as it is, like,
yeah, it's a part of the growing process.
like, for example, right, I was at the club the other day,
Mhm.
and then
Oh, God.
I saw this guy, he's like 6'4" fucking Greek god,
Oh, yeah, right.
and like, you know, he's just like, I guess, like there was this girl she's cute, I should go talk to her, and then like he just instantly goes to her, and then like they start making out, and it's just like, fuck, you know, it's like all this inadequacy that came out in my life, it's like, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I want control, I want things to happen certain ways, but they don't.
And you know,
How do we
here's the thing.
deal with
is-
that? How do we,
It's also like, dude, you could be dodging a bullet, man.
yeah.
You could be the most toxic ass people in the world.
But
or
it's
they
that
can-
opportunity and that moment you wanted. You know,
Yeah.
because ultimately it's like for example, let's say I want
Do you
this
get
job.
everything in life that you want? Most of the
Never.
time when I plan, shit goes completely opposite.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason, and I don't understand it, and I wanna understand it, but I can't. Cause some things in life are better unanswered.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're just working with groups of people, and not everybody wants the same thing. We could be on the same page, but really, it's like working with what everybody else got, and if you could either like bring everything like just tenfold, you know, like who knows, it could make it better. Not to really bring like anybody down, but like if it's like, you know what, this works, you know, that's like a way of like having that kind of collaborative energy. So like, especially like coming into working in groups, I don't put too much control on people. If anything, like I'm just like, all right, I want to bring out the best in you and stuff. So especially if I have songs for this guy, I'll be like, yo, like I got this track, I'll throw a challenge for you, and shit.
But I feel like to some degree, you know, it's like, at least for me, where I'm coming from, is like there's a level of control that you can place. Like for example, if you're directing this project for it, or you have a vision for it, you know this person not to be that hard working. And so like there are things that you can do to, put a fire under his ass essentially to control the outcome of something and control the way he works.
That too, but it's not about control. It's about motivating them, especially if it's a friend that you want to help them achieve their goals. They got to be motivated themselves. Because I have, friends that are like that too, and it's like, I'll offer them opportunity or be like, hey, want to collaborate. If they're not all there, they don't have their heart into it. Like they can still be friends at the end of the day, but just don't have that expectation that they can perform at the level that you want them to perform at.
And people are different.
Yeah.
People thrive in different environments.
So what if you control that environment to get the outcome you
I
want?
can't always
basically?
control it.
Yeah.
Though I have the power to control a lot of things, sometimes I just choose to lay back and let things set its course, because you gotta be able to balance everything that you do in life, including power, you might see it as laziness, but me it's just being comfortable, or me it's just learning to learn from other people.
Yeah.
You don't have to have control, you could just be there and learn and grow and be different.
Yeah.
People have different styles.
And those are like key traits to having like at least leadership roles. The best kind of people that have those roles are people that are able to understand where other people are coming from. It's not always about having to manipulate like other people, because you don't get the best results from manipulating people. To motivate people to want to do better, I think that's a key, especially if you're like working in a managerial role. Those are the best kind of managers in my opinion.
Which are hard to find.
I feel like to some degree manipulation does work though. Like for example, I guess I'm gonna give two examples, right?
Yeah.
One example is let's say you have a project that's due in like 2 weeks, whatever. You're working on it with your homie. You know that he isn't good on timelines and stuff like that. So if you let just it run its course, it's probably gonna take longer than 2 weeks. But it's due in 2 weeks. So you're like, you know what, bro, I got a project that's due in 1 week. So all of a sudden you're kind of manipulating things.
You have to trust.
No, you gotta
have to
motivate them. You gotta
trust.
motivate them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like small things like that where you motivate them and all these things.
Because
You
it's like
change-
our grade depends on it.
Imagine
and
you
we're working
change-
as a team.
Yeah, but imagine you change it's like a week.
Trajectory of it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, so you know that they're gonna go a little past the week. Okay. But then now you realize that because you had the full perspective, it fits in line with your.
But you're also working as a team if it's a group project. As
Yeah.
well.
Okay, and I guess my second example is like, okay,
I'm trying to understand your point.
you're trying to understand my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like everything in outcome is like,
Am I the only one?
if you manipulate
Same
and
here,
control the.
I feel like
Okay.
you're the lesson you need to learn that I learned.
Just listen.
Nah, it ain't even listening. Because you're a good listener.
Yeah.
Thing is, you can't control everything.
Yeah.
I know. I
You
guess
ain't
in
gonna
some
do-
sense I'm trying to let that go.
You
But
ain't,
I'm
you ain't, because you
I think
dumb.
he's an overthinker.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Overthinker.
Yeah, I've learned that too. Like, you gotta just stop, bro. Like,
Okay,
I'm
but
31.
on a second example, right?
Yeah.
Do you study history? Like, do you like study, like?
Sometimes, occasionally.
That'll be a good place entry point, because I noticed that like you like to like, I think your viewpoint, as you said, is realist,
Yeah.
and your viewpoints on AI, which is all cool. Maybe it'd be like, instead of kind of question the things now, just like study history and the evolution of civilizations, and study other philosophers and scientists and all these things. That would be a good entry point to shift to help maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably.
help
That's
you
why I
with your
learned,
mind,
because
yeah.
when I try to understand maybe your history, your parents' immigration history, if that's the case.
I think it's just trying to get us to think.
Yeah.
That's
that
it.
too.
But I think it'll give you more insight because a lot of your questions are very like, bam, and it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay, that's loaded, that's loaded, that's loaded. But if you had like more context around certain
The
things,
thing about history is like, in some extent, it is based off the fact that humans couldn't let go of their control. They had to manipulate something because I'm gonna put it in a
Do
sense.
you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ?
Fuck that guy for 1 second, okay? Right?
Oh,
Like I love him, whatever.
Now
But like
we can talk about that topic too.
on the okay,
it's like an entry
on
program.
this-
Yeah.
on the-
Philosophy,
real quick,
religion.
real quick,
What do you
before
think about that?
like I'm just gonna use this as a metaphor also. It's like, okay, imagine I'm talking to this girl. If I don't set things in motion,
It's all about
things are just yeah. No, not even that though. But like, if I don't set things in motion, it's not gonna happen. If I don't tell everyone to come to this film set meetup, things are not gonna just move. You know.
Yeah, we do that. That's
And so
the other half.
on that part in itself is
That's where
it's
AI.
control.
Use AI for
Yeah,
that.
you have a certain amount of control, but
Yeah.
as far as you walking outside and knowing when something's gonna happen, you don't know that. You can't control that. But certain
But to some degree, you do.
But you're not
To a
cracking
certain
the whip
degree.
on people.
To a
That's the
certain
thing.
degree.
You're working with
to
people.
a certain degree, you do
Yeah.
that to a certain degree.
Yeah.
As far as knowing everything, nah, bro. You don't never do that, bro. You don't know when it's gonna something happen. You don't know when it's gonna happen. This person, you don't know.
Yeah. And that's a part of like the game of anticipation too. It's like you never know what the result could be, and all it really is just going where the wind goes. I know it sounds kind of loosely.
Yeah, I think that's my problem is like the ability. But like for example, like you don't know where people are gonna. If I block this road, I know all of a sudden that they have to move around that road, and them moving around that road could play their cards onto my field.
Yeah. I mean, if it works to your advantage and stuff, that's cool. You know. But,
Some other war type stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Controlling, you know. I understand what you're saying.
I think that's why my life is, you know, it's in a very
nah, you're still trying to figure it out.
little area where, but it's
You're in the
because it's
grind.
that I'm not able to fully let go of the control aspect. That's the thing that like kind of eats me.
Like, you just figuring things out. I'm pretty sure everybody else in here haven't figured everything
Yeah.
out.
I mean, still at the age I'm at, I'm still like, still want to be at the level where I want to be at, just playing that waiting game
Yeah.
While working.
while
While
working.
grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the tough part.
all in all, I do what I love, though.
It's the patience.
Patience.
Amongst
Definitely patience.
the work. Because I told myself that I would give up on this film stuff last year if I didn't see any results, and I'm still here.
One common denominator is you may see something if you continue, but you'll never see something if you don't.
Facts.
Shit. Okay, horde mentality and Jesus Christ our Lord and Savior.
So herd mentality would mean like holding on to things, I take it, or
Horde mentality,
Everyone thinks a certain way. So
what I believe horde mentality is that I'm taught to learn a specific way, or I'm taught a specific way, and then I'm teaching somebody else a specific way, and that manifests into a horde mentality.
Okay.
To say, for example, I don't want to get political, but the campaigning.
Yeah.
Right? There's no campaigning going on. Everybody thinks it's a fucking campaign. It's just all bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? But is it hiding something? Are we looking at them to hide something? Like, is there like a pool right here? Let's say that plate is the campaign and the people that are on the campaign.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes over there and fucking pours a little bit of their water in there, right? Are we making that bigger as a collective?
basically,
I mean, it depends what you take out of that campaign, because the way I see the campaign, sometimes it's just not worth my energy or time right now.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what-
That's
Yeah,
how
I
I
That's
your
feel.
also
point
what I
is-
mean. Is like,
I feel like on that point, it's part of your own problem for giving your water to the. You had the choice. Nobody forced you to
right.
look at it, to click on the articles, or to do anything. You clicking on it, you giving them water is you giving them power in the first place.
For example, I invited a lot of my friends to be on this part of this project that we're working on, right? I honestly believe, like, I really want to be a part of this project. I really want to see it happen. But then there's a lot of steps that I have to go through and I need to learn, and then I need to help everybody else. Not only help, but like share it with everybody else, right? I need to be able to like
It's a lot more work.
let go of some things that I can't control, and then it becomes. I want it to become a collective, right? I want it to be like this is a team right here. But then I gotta work with other people's schedules. You know, we gotta make time for it. You know, like,
Well, that's the thing also, is that also the control manipulation that I haven't gotten over is like, for example, right? You just say, hey, I'm doing this project, you say all that. Now the ball's in their court where it's like they have a choice whether or not to show up. But if you were to word it in a different way, all of a sudden that could shift everyone's perspective and be like, hey, look, I see a lot of people do this and fuck those assholes, but it works kind of where they're like, hey, we have a connect at HBO, we're gonna shoot this pilot, and we're hoping to pitch it to them so we can go bigger. They don't have a fucking connect at HBO. They don't. But all of a sudden they name drop that, and then people are opening up their schedules because it's like, oh shit, he's working on a bigger project.
Yeah. No, that's it.
So that, on a sense, I feel like is control and manipulation where it works in your favor.
Yeah.
How can I let go of that when I know certain outcomes are gonna go a certain way if you just.
I mean, that sounds like they're taking a gamble then. if that's
Do you
the
really
case.
want to let go of it?
Especially if they're driving a hard
Yes, I know,
sales
but like
that.
for example, Javier, like, you know, he's excited for this project. He wants as many hands as he can get on the project. People, he needs these things to work out in his favor. The moment you kind of put in some lies a little bit here and there, and then make it seem bigger than it is, all of a sudden people will open up their schedule.
How far do you play the take through on that though? Like, when they find out
then
that
it comes
But
with
that's control and
integrity.
manipulation.
integrity,
Integrity.
consequences.
But I also
you said
feel
this is
like
gonna be a
You
part
gotta
of
be,
the
if you're gonna
HBO
pitch those
project, you know,
things, you gotta be able to deliver on
Back
it.
it
You know
up.
what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of sets I've actually been on where they say, have said that, it's like, fucking, I get on time, like, bitch, this is no fucking HBO project.
People do that?
Yeah.
For real? I
You
mean,
know, well, they make it seem bigger than it is, and, you know, they give some false promise of them knowing, you know.
but they kind of like twist like things around, like
But that's manipulation in a sense, and it's like, it worked though. You know, I was on set selling ass. And so I feel like that in itself I cannot let go, because if I just, you know, behave a certain way, if I talk to this girl that I like, right? Let's say I talk to her in this way, I know it's not gonna go anywhere. If I talk in this way, I know all of a sudden it could go somewhere. You
Let
know,
me ask
there-
you this: was it worth your time when you did invest your time and your energy into it?
The project or the girl?
Well, okay, the project at least.
The project, I mean, yes and no.
Did it get you to the level? If not at the exact level,
It didn't get me to anywhere I wanted to,
Okay.
but at the same time, it's a project, and I've started to have a more positive outlook where it's like, you know, I'm just gonna be on a project trying to meet new people. If I don't meet any new people or whatever,
Yeah.
or make, you know, friends or connections, then it is what it is. But you know, at least I was on set trying to.
Think about. I mean, this is a part of life that you would think about a relationship, right? Say it's this chick you dig in, and you're like kind of having a feeling process. You're like, man, I don't like certain characteristics about it. It makes me realize what I want in life.
Mhm.
That's the best you can make out of that situation.
What if she has the personality you want, the looks that you want, everything is going,
I mean, if that's what you want to go for,
and you
go for
can't
it.
let her go. You have to.
You
I
can't
mean,
control her.
Yeah, you can't control it.
decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Relationships don't work like that, where you're gonna like manipulate it because
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
manipulate in
bite you
certain ways
in-
where it's gonna, you know.
Not even certain
Mm.
ways. This is a.
I don't think manipulation's the
yeah.
correct term.
Yeah,
I don't want to say manipulate, but
So it's like
I
this.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, both of y'all are working together, not like, oh, I'm in control. You know, that's not how relationships work. You know what I mean?
not trying to compare anybody to a water bottle, but imagine like someone is thirsty, right? I have a water bottle. If I give her too much water, all of a sudden she's no longer thirsty and doesn't want water anymore. But, you know, I give her a little bit, but then I pull back. All of a sudden she gets even more thirsty. She, you know, she wants water. So it's like, in a sense, I can manipulate certain. I'm not
It just
manipulating.
sounds like
but
a gaslight.
I know, but like,
I think you're just manipulating your
I
mind.
just have my perspective on everything.
No,
I
I
can't
agree.
I just go girls in general, but like, you know, girls, career, all these things, you know.
man.
To some degree, I
All
can't
you
let
saying
go
is-
of the control.
You got some sort of control in the outcome. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Of course.
I believe that, and I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, to
I know.
some degree, it's
Sometimes,
beyond just,
Not all
it's
the
beyond
time.
just letting go and letting whatever take its course.
Yeah, it's beyond
I
that.
have to go in with my own two hands and,
yeah.
you know.
That's why they say you have to meet God halfway, which means that you have to take full action.
Gotta work on yourself.
You have to.
I guess then the question becomes like, what is that line though, of meeting him halfway?
Mm.
How much of it is manipulation? How much of it is putting in your
When you're
own
not
work?
hurting anyone.
Yeah.
But what is hurting?
Yeah, but everyone gets fucking hurt, you know.
Facts.
Like,
Doesn't
for
have-
example-
doesn't have to be that way. Though. It doesn't have to be that way.
I'm just saying, like, for example, this one girl that long time ago, right? This is just another girl, but it's easier to explain in those terms.
So is it about a girl?
This girl,
Always about a girl.
not just girl, but life in general, but like this girl, right? I had liked her, but I don't know if she fully liked me back. And then there's this other girl that I knew liked me, and she was really pretty, but I didn't like her. So I was like, you know what? Perfect. I'm gonna invite her on a date, like this party thing. I'm gonna get this other girl jealous and see if it, you know, shifts something. And it did kind of work, but in a sense, I had to set that up and manipulate, in a sense.
Yeah, man. That's where I'm not in favor of like relationships and all that being a game, you know.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I felt like a fucking shitty person doing that, but like,
Yeah.
to some degree, on a result
I'm
outcome.
not even gonna use that said against you,
Is
but
it
at
good?
least you're conscious of that.
Is it
you know?
good or is it bad?
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it. To me, you're a player. To a female, he's playing me, but women like stuff like that. Majority of them like
Like
stuff
drama,
so
all
why-
that stuff, yeah.
But
And
so
I'm
that's
not-
why I'm confused.
yeah.
Is like, on what hand is it me controlling and manipulating certain outcome, and what point of it is like kind of just me letting it go?
I think you're
and
just
like-
living life and you're
Yeah.
overthinking.
Just gotta watch more.
Yeah, you thinking a little
Yeah.
too. I don't think you're thinking too much. I just think that
I think you're figuring it out.
you just
man.
figuring stuff out, and you still ain't gonna never be able to figure it.
Yeah.
ever. In life. I guess that's life is a
That's
journey.
just that's just what it
And
is.
that's what's frustrating also is that I can't control the outcome. I need to figure it out. I need the answers. I need
It's just
it to
what
work out in this
So
way.
that's a part of being in the 20s, man. I used to think like that too. Am I gonna say like 30s are any different? It depends what the outcome is. You know. Yeah. I don't know. You have like a different outlook, and you're just like, you know, today didn't work.
I think in your 30s, you're more okay with results,
Yeah.
the outcomes of it.
Mhm.
You're more at peace with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The older you get,
Mhm.
honestly.
Does that become a lack of interest?
Not really,
And
but
like
it
giving up
becomes
to have
less.
interest?
I'm not gonna say it's less stressful because I feel like other things are anxiety inducing in your 30s where it shouldn't be in your 20s. You know, I think certain things get to you like you
Right.
tend to care more when you're in your 30s. That's
Mhm.
the one thing. I
About
see.
real life,
Yeah, about
like
real
bills
life, you
and,
know?
and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and not necessarily like shit you cared about in
Oh,
college.
and you just have less time for other people's bullshit.
Right.
If that makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
Right. Because
Like-
you're trying to survive.
I mean, because living out in the city, you know, it's one thing I just always kind of, I'm an asshole to, is like panhandlers. And they take my fucking, like, apathy that I played the wrong way. Like, I almost got into a fight with the dude,
Really?
like, while I was pumping gas today. Yeah.
Why?
Because, like, he was asking me for money because he was broke, trying to get money to, like,
Do bad shit.
yeah, like, you know, I mean, you know, like, if he's gonna be all reactive, he's gonna be, like, talking shit to me, like, talking about my looks and all that.
Oh no.
Just because I'm not giving him money and I'm like, I don't want to tell him like, hey man, I'm struggling myself, you know, because he might use that against me because he's instigating. He's all distracting me while he's talking because I'm like holding like while I was pumping the tires, I was holding on to like, you know, that water hose.
Yeah.
He's like, you're holding your water hose, you're not pumping air. I was like, it's because you're fucking talking to me, dude. You're kind of like distracting me and you're being annoying at this point.
Mhm.
I was just telling him, dude, if you're gonna come at me, shut the fuck up. You know?
Right.
I wanted to kick his ass. so
Okay,
bad.
understood. I
Yeah.
So panhandle,
And he was
fucking
even
respect
asking
me.
another guy that was like selling car washes for $40, like on the corner of the gas station. And he was like telling him no, not once, not twice,
Many times.
like 5 to 10
I'm
times.
just trying to step on
And he was he was stepping on toes, and then and on his way back, he starts talking shit to me. I'm like, let it go, dude. I get you're hurting and all that stuff. I really want to kick your ass, but it's not gonna make the situation any better. So Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not stooping to your level. I'm not that fucking stupid. So yeah.
Then he's gonna sue you, then he's gonna fucking claim
Yeah.
Okay,
all
so
this shit.
It has to be a point in time when you motherfucking kick some ass. You
Yeah.
kind of manipulating
Yeah.
because
Kick his ass
like,
so he can sue you. Exactly, right?
That's how they be like borderliners. You be like, I can't
Yeah.
shoot you.
you could trigger him so he swings
I can't
first.
shoot you.
Right. If he steps my way, then and it was
Disrespect
Florida,
me.
then I would do a stand my ground kind of rule and whip his ass. So yeah.
So this is the thing though, like on that note, it's like
Have you guys all gotten into physical fights?
Yeah,
I got it.
You?
I have.
no,
I love
no.
fighting.
You?
I fucking love
You
fighting.
physically?
Yes, I love it.
That's must be a male.
Now, I mean, now I'm like a little more calm, but like
I ain't never been in a
growing
physical
up, I was
fight.
like,
Well, now I realize it's so
When I was
stupid.
younger, I used to fight a lot,
Yeah.
but like,
Only for when I had to.
yeah,
I ain't gotta
but
fight.
Right.
I just find no point in it just because it's like it's just gonna
Yeah.
make marriage worse.
It does. And,
And like,
hurt.
you know, I tell kids to stop fighting all the time. So like, I feel like I would be like a complete hypocrite if I like beat somebody's ass over some stupid shit. So I'm like, alright.
No, you gotta fight sometimes, though. It just depends on.
Self-defense for sure. If somebody's trying to mug you, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Well,
you gotta address disrespect too. Sometimes, but sometimes people disrespect you.
Yeah. I mean, your best form of like self-defense is really like de-escalating a situation, you know. But some people don't think like that. Some people want to just like get the worst out of you.
Yeah.
Are you talking males or females?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, hold on. That's
I would not want to hurt
Whoa,
piss
no.
you off.
no
But then
because
again, yeah.
see, you gotta look at women in today's society.
Mhm.
Women will disrespect you.
Mm.
They will disrespect you, and
Say some out of pocket shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
And some of these women, they will go up at you.
Yeah.
Oh, like get in your face.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're.
And then you got
Say some
everybody
snide
else.
remarks and make you feel inadequate, you know. Something that'll drag you down to the way they're feeling. You know?
That's women.
And I'm not saying that all women are like that, but like, there's like, I think even men will
Because
pull
we
that
fight,
shit too.
we
Yeah.
fight with words.
Yeah.
Men fight physically, get the shit done, over with, never talk to each other again. Women, all mouth,
Yeah.
and no fight.
I think there's even some instances in relationships where the woman will use, or it's just the idea of double like stigma, right? Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna put his hands on me because you stop not to. He'll take advantage of that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
of
throw
Like,
hands,
take
knowing that you're not gonna,
punishment.
knowing that you could take it because of your just certain masculinity or toughness or whatever. But I still don't think that's right too.
Nah, shit.
You know what I mean?
Whoop her ass, and after that, guess what? Y'all gonna be hunching. Y'all gonna be hunching right after. She gonna give you
you're
something.
gonna be in jail for DV.
Nah,
Yeah.
nope.
Unless you settle it some other way physically, but that's another
You're gonna be
that's
like
another
War
case.
Machine.
I ain't
Did
talking
something
about.
to his wife.
I ain't talking about.
Fucking doing manslaughter time.
I ain't talking about no. I ain't talking about blacking your female's eye. I ain't talking about like no. I'm just talking about like grab her, rough up a little bit, and call it a day. Because at the end of the day,
Okay,
like
that's not violence, that's just relationship.
No, just even
sometimes
throwing,
you do have to get violent.
just even throwing 2 punches at somebody. 2 punches as a combination. That person sues you. You're gonna go down for fucking mayhem.
Fuck that. I'm swinging on
You
you.
can use
No,
violence
no.
with love.
It's crazy, dude. Like,
Attack them
there's
with
some
love.
fucking crazy shit out there.
Do you know what love is?
Your girl's being mean
know
to
what
you,
love is?
she's being a bitch to you, you cook her food until
That,
You know what love
that
is?
is a
It's
form.
not even
There's
a
2
salt
sides to love.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's 2 sides.
It's not even a
Me,
salt
I'm a
matter.
certified
I
love
would love to beat your ass.
My love.
That's what you tell somebody when they try it.
Is it?
Because
Yeah.
there's always a line. Because
How many years?
if you continue to allow people to disrespect you, that shit gets around.
But for some, I don't really let that get to me anymore. Where it's like,
When
oh,
people
shit.
disrespect you.
Yeah, I was like, bro, it is what it is.
I mean, I hear what
Depends
The
you're
only
what-
time when
I
it
hear
is
what
is when they start getting close and like physical. Like for example,
Oh, like in your face?
Yeah.
That's when you're like, yo, man, you
Yeah.
better back up.
like this
Right.
skateboarder in San Francisco, right? He's like saying some shit, and I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, bro, it's just a fucking word. Like, I don't even know who you are. I'm just ignoring. But he starts getting up fucking closer, and he puts this like dirty ass ball on my fucking pizza tray, and then all of a sudden, that's when it's like,
Serious.
yeah,
Right.
seriously, bro.
Yeah. Well,
Now you really.
some people take words very
Yeah.
seriously,
You
and
can
some
fuck me up and say all that shit to me, but don't ever fuck with my pizza.
or anybody's
Swear to
food.
God.
Do not fuck with this guy's
saying.
piece.
Yeah, don't mess with that piece.
Don't mess with nobody's food ever.
Yeah.
But then there's a borderline with that, like taking that type of not negativity, but like if somebody comes up to me and says they puts their shit in my pizza,
Yeah.
then I want to strike first, and then I want to strike fast with no mercy.
Yeah.
See,
You know,
Cobra
like-
Kai.
Yeah, no, for real, that's true, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up in the city. I'm not saying it's any different from anybody else, but like
Yeah,
I had to
kids are
defend
built
myself a
Yeah.
lot of times. You know, like
I mean, it's shit, man.
I grew up fucking defending myself, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
like you shouldn't have to take shit from people.
well, like yeah, of course, I didn't take shit from a lot of people. Like it's just I had to separate myself from that shit too. You know, like I have to be like, oh, over there, you know, there's like a fucking tree over there. Let's meet tomorrow, and then fucking never show up. Like, you know, like, but then that becomes a resentment towards the other guy, and then he's gonna fucking be hunting you and shit. Like, whatever. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, I did graffiti growing up, right? And then it became like some gang shit. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do no gang shit. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck brought this gang shit over? You know, like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking matter. Graffiti, the way I did it, I did like weed paste and fucking spray can shit, like, you know, stencils and shit, like simple shit.
Yeah.
What I thought was art, you know, like I was going for the art side.
I mean, all of it's art. It's just you know, like
But then I
I see
wasn't
it,
doing
yeah.
it on people's properties. I was doing it on the
Yeah.
sidewalk, I was doing it on the street, you know, like
corporate buildings.
on the white part of the crossing the street shit, you know, like
Side of people.
I wasn't doing it on like nothing on property, like I was doing it on public shit because it could get painted over, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, there's a borderline between like the violence and then the creative violence, right?
Yeah.
The creative violence is like, okay, I'm practicing, so I'm therefore better than you.
Which one? Oh, you talking about like far as the spray, the spray?
Yeah. You're like, I'm practicing my craft, and then it becomes like, all right, I'm practicing, and then the other person's like, oh, they're not really practicing,
Yeah.
but they want to get to my level, but then they get like butthurt
Mm-hmm.
because they can't get to my level, they can't catch up to me, you know, like I'm fucking doing my thing.
Yeah, so,
But then it becomes a violence because it just manifests as something different, you know, like they bring in their friends, then they
So it
want to jump
becomes
in.
about something else.
Yeah, it completely
Yeah,
becomes
that's
something else.
that's
It
the
doesn't
word
become a
mentality.
creative battle anymore. You know,
It just becomes like bullshit.
yeah, it just becomes completely bullshit. I think it relates to the YouTube thing too.
no, it just depends. You say it becomes bullshit, but you gotta look at the,
Like, what's my purpose about it? You know,
yeah,
like,
like why you think you can talk to me this way? What you think I'm a pussy? You think I'm a pussy because I eat pussy. Yeah. Delicious.
Oh my God.
Nutritious. But anyways, it boils down to you gotta think about it this way. You got men and women. Men, we value our respect for women. Like that female name, if your woman, you in the house with a woman, she ain't respecting you, you gonna feel some way. She gonna be talking to you all type of ways. You gonna want to slap her in her mouth. She don't respect you. Why she don't respect you? Because of the way you behave. You know what I'm saying? And then if she don't respect you, then people out in the world might not respect you. I ain't telling you to beat your woman. I don't believe in beating women, like violence towards women. But at what point do we gotta put women in their place? What point? Because society is effed up if you really think about it. And
would
what
you
you
like today's society or just in general?
In general, period.
in general, you Mexican, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm of the African American community. Our women don't play.
Yeah.
They don't play. So I'm trying to make you see things from
Your
my
perspective,
perspective. So me going out into the world, I might have to deal with more violence than you, more attacks from people. So my perspective is I have to defend myself more often. I might have to beat this bitch ass. I might have to beat his ass. You feel me? You just might have to do that.
Yeah.
I ain't saying it's right, because it's not right to beat a woman, especially if you're in the house and you got kids. I'm not gonna, if you're a certain type of woman, I'm not gonna put my hands on you. I'm just gonna put my hands on your hands on me. And we're gonna be alright. We're gonna make this happen, you feel me?
Yeah, it's like just working it out, man. Like
Yeah,
seeing eye
it's
to eye and being on the same page, you know.
But sometimes people just,
Clash, but like,
People just
they
keep
have to,
pushing.
yeah.
Yeah.
at what point do you turn around and defend yourself? At what point does the law? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you may break the law, but I feel like certain laws ain't even supposed to be in place. Like, come on, this man approached me and then I can't do this because of the law. That makes me hesitate. I can get killed in that hesitation. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
I hear that.
Hesitation. Anyways, man. I'm not gonna
No,
at least I explain my perspective.
Right.
Not to make y'all think, oh, Israel's a woman beater. I got 2 daughters. I am not a
I was
woman
not
beater.
thinking that by any means.
I'm a logical person. I'm very logical. I've always been very logical.
You seem more serious though.
I am.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, I am serious, but I do have a goofy side that I need to like express more.
He's too goofy. You're
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
kinda
more serious.
Just start hanging out with
serious.
him then.
He's chill.
Nice.
This is a perfect podcast setup.
I know.
And you
We
guys-
saw all
You got
personalities.
the Mexicans right here, and then you,
The
the
Filipinos?
more open-minded. You're
The
Filipino?
Mexicans.
Are you really? I thought you were Hispanic.
Oh, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're the Mexicans of Asians.
They are.
We are.
So what are you working on? What are you grinding on currently, or what could people
I'm just,
look forward?
I'm trying to, like I said, I'm tapping back into music, and I think music is like my passion. Music is very, it allows you to express yourself.
Music or rap?
Both music, rap, yeah, music, rapping, singing, making music, man. So yeah, it's all music.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah, yeah.
really all music.
Because even like instrumentals within themselves is like an expressive form as well, man.
I got a question for you, Israel. Do you feel like you need to learn the fundamentals of music? Like
Yeah.
the actual, the fundamentals, basically, like the structure of it?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what type of like. You don't need to know.
Like bars, hooks, all
Yeah,
that
you need to
stuff.
know like simple stuff. Yeah, if you're making music, but as far as making a hit, you don't need to know everything about like producing or engineering music, because you can learn like the basic stuff today and tomorrow have a hit. You might blow up overnight. You don't know how you market. It just depends. But you don't have to know everything.
Just gotta have something that sounds good.
It sounds good.
Yeah. It's like a hard way to explain, but it's just that feeling like, okay, this one like hits.
Yeah.
You know, like it slaps.
I think that's the thing for film also, just to relate both sides. It's like, doesn't matter what technique, what shit you do, as long as it's good and it's entertaining, it's there. It doesn't matter what fucking, whatever, even if you use AI or not AI or all these things, it's like, as long as it fucking slaps and it hits, it's all it really ever needs to be.
It has like some kind of lasting memory, like in it too, you know. Yeah, that's entertainment for you.
What about you? What's next for you?
Oh, what's next? I'm actually, I'm in school right now. I'm for social work, so I'm all about like I mean, trying to fight for social justice, as a formerly incarcerated individual, and then so in doing that, I find music helps. Making music, you can tell by the music.
We're making
We're making an album. As far as the music part, I feel like the rapping part came natural, but I'm not gonna sacrifice talking or rapping about stuff that I'm not doing or that it's not me just to make a hit. And, it's gonna be authentically me. It's gonna be for the movement, and they'll know when they hear it. Yeah, just doing work for the community at the end of the day. That's actually what sustains me. It's plans for the community.
I have a question for you, Alan. If you were to share something for the youth and people to learn from their time in incarceration, what would you say?
Find an issue or problem that you want to help fix. Whether it starts with you, whether it starts in your family, in your community, or a worldwide issue that you want to help fix. We all see it, like, a lot of folks are getting with the grassroots organizing because of all these world issues. And if that's where you want to start, that's what they want to start, regardless if they have stuff happening at home too. But for me, that's what the hell, with all the complications and shit I had in life, and then all the help I was receiving, I was like, at times it wouldn't work. The moment I made the decision to want to do work for the community outside of myself, that's when I was finding fulfillment. And I'm learning to discover myself through other people. Yeah. So find something that you want to help fix, help change, and everything will, other things will fall into place.
Thank you.
So what was the question again?
What's your grind?
Working on music, working on the film as well. So doing some cinematography for that, and then my side gigs with work. Still gonna be teaching in the fall, and then looking forward to like just doing like more stagehand work, and then just do more shows. It's always constantly staying like productive. So that's my short term, long term, and just having a great end result at the end of it all.
Shit, well, from this podcast, I'm working on myself. They definitely need a lot of that, you know. Obviously, at the end of the day, I want answers also, but, you know, how I live life is like, there's no fucking answers, which is shit, bro. At least make it multiple choice. You know?
Always D. Always D.
Fucking, there's no T anymore. It's just, it's blank. It's like, yo, fill in your own answer. It's like, oh shit. And then working on my acting and writing. That's all I have going on for me. And my relationships with people. And my life. Like, my own personal life. I feel like it's not exciting enough. Like, I don't have a fucking story. I'm not getting out there enough stuff.
For me, my grind, I feel like I'm really working really hard to throw myself out as an actor. I'm pursuing AD, but then I'm realizing I need way more help than doing it. There's like way more processes that I have to go through, and I'm thankful for the people that reached out and collaborated with us today and just gave me some pointers and yeah, I'm open for feedback, you know, and I had to remain open, you know, like I really had to remain open. I'm very thankful for having that, and I'm glad that I've met a lot of people that are willing to work on this project, you know, and it just comes down to like taking suggestions and
Being humble.
really manifesting this project, you know. Like, it's gonna take some time, and yeah, thank you, being humble, yes.
Same, continue to learn as I'm learning how to be a director, not just a producer. But both of those names carry a heavy load, and it's every project I dive into, there's new things that I'm learning and new aspects that I didn't even know before. So continue on learning and making this film, short film, a reality. Whatever that may mean, who knows? But tune in for the next episode and subscribe to these guys. Thank you for watching.
It's time to let go of the stream. Not everything is in your control. You wish you may manipulate and control that the stream goes on, but it's not.
Oh, the stream
You mean
goes
the
on.
apron?
How do you finalize it?
I don't know, just don't delete it.
Hit that right button, hit that stop button.
Right.
Where's the stop button?
Uh-oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna
Drink
text
some
you.
water.
I'm like sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Is it off?
Damn, I just
No,
want to say
still
thank
on.
you guys, bro. Thank you, bro. Respect it.
Thank you.
Are you sure you want to stop?
Still going through.
Yeah.